afternoon from Los Angeles, and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at AutoZone as well as Inphi and MongoDB. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It's Alyssa Corum here, and today I'm joined by Ed Carson. And Ed, we saw the major indexes all reverse slightly lower today, finishing down about 0.1% across the board. So not a whole lot of movements either which way.
No, and the small cap index apparently was slightly higher today, but yeah, not a whole lot going on. It's sort of interesting because there's a report that the U.S. and China were sort of planning on delaying the December 15th tariff,
right,
which is what the market wants to hear, but it may be a sign that the markets have sort of priced that in. I mean, it may have been an expectation that they weren't going to come in. So, and it was just a report, and then Larry Kudlow, who's usually very rah, I'm cheering the markets on, a Trump economic advisor, said, well, we haven't decided yet. So, I mean, he may just be cautioning it, so because it isn't signed and deal, but anyway, the markets really aren't doing too much here. Look at the, we're going sideways action. We found support at the 21-day line. This is offering a chance for some handles to form, some tight patterns, some bases. So, really, as long as we're doing this for a little while, there's nothing wrong with it after a nice run.
Exactly. I know. I feel like for the majority of the year, we were really using that 50-day line as, are we going to retake the 50-day or hold the 50-day? But to see the NASDAQ holding above that 21-day moving average is really impressive. And like you said, as we move sideways here, presenting more buying opportunities.
That's
so right. Got to get those new bases forming. All right, well, let's take a look at a few individual names, starting off with AutoZone today. The ticker there is AZO, and those shares gained about 7% today in heavy volume, a nice gap up for the stock on its quarterly earnings report, Ed, where we saw an earnings beat and an acceleration of same-store sales growth.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most amazing growth. Earnings growth
right,
was slowing
still
down.
Single digits.
Single digits and same-store sales growth was up modestly, but it was just nice action. This has been basing for a while. There's that sort of that blue purplish line down below. That's a relative strength line. That's showing its performance versus the S&P 500. Well, it had been consolidating for a while like the stock, but now today with today's action, breaking out to a new high. Stock at a new high sort of might be maybe at the edge of the buy zone or a little beyond it. But this has just been a steady Eddie kind of stock. There was some, back in the 2018 correction, this one actually rose. I was looking back. They basically had one bad day, and then it went right up, and so it was higher, at the end of that correction, the bottom of the correction than it was at the start. So it was just really impressive performance that way. O'Reilly is also in that group, also acting fairly bullishly.
And Copart as well.
That's right.
In the same industry group. So a couple of peers doing well there. But it's interesting, this is the first buying opportunity for AutoZone in quite a while since it's been basing since July. But we will definitely keep tabs on this one because from here, with these earnings gaps, we want to see the gains being held here and some tight action, hopefully.
Yeah, and this was IBD stock of the day, so please take a look at that article on i.com.
Yes, that's right. And moving on, looking at a chip maker, Inphi, ticker there is IPHI. We're seeing a continuation of a rebound in shares here today, tacking on another 4.5% today. We're going to be taking a look at a weekly chart of this one. So break this down here for us, Ed. What makes this a buying opportunity here?
Well, when you have that bounce off the 10-week line, which you can see up there near the top, it did that and it's continued to do that. It's also breaking a downtrend a little bit, so that's also a positive. It could be in the formation, beginning of a flat basis, a few weeks into it, but maybe you could even just start a position here. This was actually an earnings gap that did come back down. You don't want to see it, but then it came to the 10-week line, the 50-day line, and has rebounded. So, it wasn't the greatest action in that regard, but now it's showing strength again. So just pretty nice action, the relative strength line down below. It's basically at highs, so it's pretty good action right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because last week it did already start rebounding off of the 10-week line, but the volume wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And with these rebounds, we like to see that heavier volume too to make it a little more convincing, I think, with the rebound. And we're not quite seeing it, I think, on a weekly level, but on the daily, if you look at the two most recent blue bars, those are in above average volume with that rebound.
Very good point.
All right, and last but not least, let's check in with MongoDB. The ticker there is MDB. Some wild action here today for the database software company, down about 1.4% by the end of the day in heavy volume. So what the heck happened here after earnings?
Yeah, I mean, the results were strong, the guidance was strong, and then why are we showing this? Because we usually show actionable stocks, but what happened here is that, okay, this is...
Well, early, it was looking okay,
it was
right?
Okay, but even then, it got above some moving averages, which is nice, but you can see that it's well off its highs. It was even off below a short-term high. And so sometimes, boy, there's momentum, you should go for it. No. You want to see it clearing the resistance levels and really getting above there. There's still a lot of overhead resistance. There's still a lot of people who might be thinking, oh boy, I finally can sell. And if you know the character of this stock sometimes has these reversals after earnings one way or the other. So it's just something you want to wait till the right time.
Yes.
Because this may set up, maybe tomorrow analysts will pound the table and say, no, you should buy the stock and it'll rebound and set up down the road. But right now, the market's saying that maybe some of these software leaders, some software stocks have come back, but a lot of them, like Mongo, have not.
Yep, that's why you want to wait for those proper buy points, because even though right out of the gate this one was up almost 9% for the day, it wasn't in a proper buy area. And also, if you would have looked at the intraday chart, we like to see the first 5-minute bar, see if it can climb above the first hour high, and I don't think it was able to do either of those.
No, it did
not. So definitely make sure you are watching these names on earnings, because just because it starts the day up doesn't mean that it will finish the day up.
That's right.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. But before we go, we have a quick announcement for you. We do have a webinar coming up, so drum roll, please, as we bring up the graphic for that. I think we have that ready in the control room. Maybe not. Let me know, guys. We do not have it. Oh, all that suspense for nothing. So we'll have to.
I could tell you.
Okay, Ed's going to tell you guys all about it.
It's going to be a sort of year-end wrap-up. It'll be myself and Deputy Markets Editor David Chung. We're both on IBD Live, but we're going to be talking a little bit about, how do we prepare for every day? Like looking for stocks, and to a certain extent, I think it's looking for my job too, for news, and so like a little bit. And just so I think it'll be an interesting webinar about how that's going on. So I would definitely. I do not remember the website.
Investors.com/webinar, and give us a specific date and time again.
Boy, it is December 19th, and I couldn't tell you the time.
All right, it's usually 11 a.m. Pacific, I think.
I think you're right.
But we'll get the details for you guys at investors.com/webinar. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.